What you say, huh? What's up, money getters? What's good? What's good? What's good? You should see how animated I am on this Wednesday. What time is it? Afternoon. Wednesday afternoon. Way afternoon. Um, what's good? All of you guys in the East Coast, what's good? All of you guys watching me on the West Coast. Money getters, come on in, come on in, come on in. I'm here for a good time, not for a long time today. I am so sleepy. I have been up since 12. I should have went live in the middle of the night to see what a middle of the night live is like, right? But I didn't. I was trying to go back to sleep in vain. It never happened. These days I'm going to bed super, super early and I'm waking up super, super early and I can't go back to sleep, but I still have to be a mom. I still have to take care of business. But today I am slow dragging it. Ah! But I have a little time before I have to get back out there in the elements. Elements meaning this summer heat. It's pretty warm here in Cali. It's 100 degrees today. Um, that's mild for us in the summertime where I live, but it's still hot. It's still hot. I know when I go to my car, uh, those seats are gonna burn the back of my legs if I'm not careful. But what's good? How's your day going? Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Go ahead and even if you're on a replay, let me know how you're feeling today. Let me know how you're feeling at the time of the live in the chat. And if you're on a replay, stop by and say hi to your girl. Don't leave me hanging. Let me know that you're watching. Um, what's going on with me? Busy, busy, busy as always. Today is my day to check emails, uh, check messages, make phone calls, make sure my business is good. On the home front, I have some appointments to make. I still need to make those appointments. They're all on my to do list. Hey, Trey, you know what? I'm thinking about a San Diego trip next month, maybe October. I'm not sure, but I think I'm going to go out that way, Trey. Hey, soccer maniac, what's up? You guys do me a favor and hit the like button for your girl. That helps me out. That helps me out. That helps your girl out. I appreciate when you do that. Hey, clapped cheeks. You know what? Yo, what's good? What's good with everybody? Where are you guys chatting from? Let me know in the comments, please. And thank you for those 3 likes. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. You guys seen the thumbnail. You guys seen the thumbnail. Peach and Tracy. Peach, I'm in Cali, Baltimore. What it do, Baltimore? What it do? Baby oil land. You know what? Clap cheeks. Don't play with me today, for real. I'm in a good mood. I would like to stay that way. I don't mind you being in here. I already know what you're here to do. But be good, be nice so I don't have to time you out. New York's in the house. I heard that, soccer maniac. That's what's good. That's what's up. Um, so today, oh no, clap cheeks. I'm uninvited to the freak off party. Oh no. Oh no, whatever will I do? Oh no. Listen, listen. I've been uninvited to better parties than that, okay? I'm from California. Where are you from, Vess? Where are you guys from? Let me know in the comments where you from. Yep. So yeah, I'm here to talk about something serious, guys. Um, what am I here to talk about? I'm here to talk about. Ugh, it's probably a little too serious for the afternoon, but I think it's still good. I think it's still a worthy conversation to have, right? Ordinarily, I've been coming on live at 6 p.m. Pacific time. That's 9 p.m. if you're on the East Coast, but I don't know if I'm gonna come on live later. We're you know what, Vest? We are opposite ends of the continent. Hurricane Aaron, that's what's going on right now. They have a documentary about it's coming. Be safe. God be with you and be safe. Hey, little mommy on the dime, how are you doing? Little mommy, where are you chatting from? Yeah. They have a documentary about Katrina coming up on Netflix. It was just so devastating. I remember that. 20 years ago, I just started working at the job I'm about to retire from. It was happening that same day that I started working. And then 20 years later, that's crazy that it's been 20 years since Katrina. I know how serious hurricanes could be. Be very safe, and God be with you all in your region. I just pray for you. Hey, Jacob Jones, what's good? When you come in the chat, do me a favor and hit the like button and let me know where you're chatting from. Your uncle's on the news talking about Hurricane Aaron. What's your uncle's name? The hottest state. You're in Texas? Texas? Arizona. Arizona. You're in Arizona. Oh my gosh. I have never been to Arizona, but the way people talk about how hot it gets in Arizona, I don't want to go. Last summer, I was in Vegas on 4th of July and it got up to 120 degrees. That's the hottest weather I've ever endured. And let me tell you, you could not breathe in that heat. I kept asking my family, how do you guys do it? And it was like, oh, well, we don't go outside till night till it gets cool. I'm like, wait a minute, you can only go outside at night? What if you have to take care of business? What if you have to be at work? That's crazy to me. Like, and I have asthma, so I couldn't fade it. Yeah, Vegas is terrible, but I hear Arizona is even worse than that. I know my sister, she went to work in Arizona, and my sister's like a few shades lighter than me. And when she came back from Arizona, she was darker than me. I'm like, girl, she went there one summer to work. I was like, I don't know how you did it. The flag or state? I think she's in Arizona State. Yeah, but Vegas is crazy too. So guys, yeah, if you saw the thumbnail, if you saw the title, you know you're in here for a conversation about making peace with your parents. Last week I wrote the apple doesn't fall. Oh, I wrote this on Facebook. I put the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. Be careful, or you'll end up being like the parents you despise. And I wrote that because someone had commented on my page on a comment, made a comment, and I thought to myself, they have the same personality as their mother, and I was like, they're just as unsurly and annoying and irritating, just like their mom. So parents also be careful what you're putting into your children because they will turn out to be just like you. And I say that with five daughters who are all just like me. That's why I call my daughters the Barbie dolls because I got, first of all, I'm a girl mom. I have all girls. That's number one. And then number two, I have all girls who have bits and pieces of my personality. I thank God, though, that my kids don't have the worst parts of me. It's like they refuse to act the way I do because I could carry on. I could carry when I want to. So I'm thankful to God that they're not like that. I wish I had my parents doing my life. Mom passed when I was 11 or 12. She was 27. I am so sorry to hear that. Um, if you caught my live, I think it was Monday. It was Monday. I ended up putting it on private, but I talked about why I cut my entire family off. Um, Today I'm talking to my mom. I got good news yesterday, and I'm used to talking to my mom every single day. And for the last month, I think we probably talked twice. We spoke on the phone twice. I haven't even seen her. Um, and that's not, this is somebody I've seen and talked to every day my whole life. It's been like very rare that I haven't spoken to my mom all day. Maybe in the last 5 years, we gotten to the point where I'm not as needy and I don't call every day. But for the better part of my life, I call my mom every single day, and she talks to her mom every day, all day long on the phone. Shout out to grandma. Grandma's 90 years old, and my mom talks to her all day long on the phone. So I don't know. Whenever I meet people, like, and I hate to say this, so please don't get mad at me, dads. You are important, but you're not the nurturers. It's not. It's nothing like a mother's love. And kids, they they don't do as well when they don't have fathers in the home. It's important for fathers to be in the home, but children always seem like they're just at a huge disadvantage. Like, who do they lean on? Who do they go to when they don't have mom? Because mom is gonna have your back and understand what nobody else does, right? Dad, some dads are like that too, but dads are a little bit more stern. Dads, you know, uh, they have a different genetic makeup than moms do. So I'm sorry to hear that you didn't grow with your mom or dad. You couldn't imagine if you didn't have no relationship with your kids, especially your daughter. Yes, it's awful um, to not be in commune with your family to begin with, right? Um, it's not a good thing. It's not an easy thing, but sometimes you have to take a step back and let God work things out. Sometimes when a situation is dire and uh, take some time off and pray about it and let calmer heads prevail. Sometimes you could be in the wrong. Sometimes they could be in the wrong. Sometimes it could just be a situation where nobody's wrong, but nobody's right. So people just need to cool off. And sometimes God just wants you by yourself. I feel like I'm in the season of being by myself, and I'm like, God, I don't want to be by myself. And he was like, I need you to stand on your own 2 feet, and I need you to lean and depend on me. I need you to be right here with me. And I'm like, but it's nobody here. And God is like, I'm here. And I think if you have God, you always have what you need. If you know to go to Him, you always have what you need. But our earthly parents are our surrogate parents. I always thank God for the responsibility of raising His children. I'm their earthly mom, but I feel like I'm their surrogate mom. They're His first. And so I always pray to Him about them, and I always try not to worry about my children because I know that God's going to take care of them. What's up, Osmain? How you doing? I'm on here early, but it's still evening for you. Usually when I'm in the evening, it'll be morning time for you. How are you doing, sir? I hope everything is going well in your neck of the woods. But what really I'm here to talk about today is Peach McIntyre and her mother, Tracy. I'm not going to talk bad about them, no, guys. I'm going to get into some things. I just feel like, and this is what made me like call my mom, because after I did that live, even though I don't feel like I said anything too bad, she probably didn't want me to mention it at all. My mom's not that type of mom that likes to discuss family things on Facebook, YouTube, or anything like that. But I feel like it was a good conversation to have. However, it was still not one that I wanted to have on YouTube, but I thought it would be a good way to connect with the audience. So many people were able to connect with that live, and people came back and said, I'm glad you did that live. And so, but still, just because I didn't feel like I said anything wrong, and I know I didn't. But when I went to bed that night, it just didn't sit well in my spirit. I tossed and turned, so I put it on private or whatever. So with that being said, I just don't see how Peach McIntyre gets on YouTube day after day, and not just with her mother. She's she does it to her husband, and now she's doing it to her children, right? Like, you're coming online and saying your children don't know how to read, your children are bedwetters. I don't think that is cool for you to do that. You already told my family whoever in my life will be welcome when it's my time, but if was not there and don't think about coming when I go, you was there, then you come around when I go. No, 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 right. You can't watch her anymore. You know what? I keep telling myself, don't watch her, because if you don't watch it, but then somebody else talks about her, and if you're a supporter of another channel and they talk about it and you hear about the stuff, um, but yeah, she's just a train wreck, right? And I feel like The Peaches of the world have been through a lot of stuff. They've seen a lot. She comes from poverty. She comes from the project. She comes from a lot of probably domestic violence. She had it in her background with her husband. She's been through a lot. But I think a lot of what she's been through that she blames her mother for is by her own doing and the decisions that she's made. She she gets mad at her mother and says that her mother put her in her dirty bath water. But then you see her make bath water and it looks like it's a sewer. It's got all this fruit and stuff in it. And I'm like, for somebody who always complains about their mother putting them in dirty bath water, you would think they would never want to take a bath. At least not in the bathtub with all that gunk in it. Like I wouldn't even feel clean in that. It looks like have you ever had a sink that was stopped up or a sink that needed to be plunged and it's all this water and food coming up? That's what her bath water looks like. So so that was one thing where I felt like, okay, that's hypocritical. And then the second thing is she constantly talks about her mother, how she embarrassed her, how she grabbed some alcohol pads and scrubbed her neck, and everybody said, your neck is so dirty. Oh, you are just so dirty. But then you get online and you tell everybody your kids wet the bed. Then you get online and tell everybody that your kids cannot read. And these are kids that should be able to read. All of her children are in first grade and up that go to school. They should be readers. Um, there's no excuse why they shouldn't be readers. Keisha just showed the other day on her website alone. This is not from uh, her content. This is not from Facebook, YouTube, or even TikTok. That's not the money she made there. We're talking the money she just made on her own website alone. And that should go to show you if you have followers, a lot of followers, if you have a lot of people coming to your page, and I spoke about this last night too. Make sure you have your website up there. Make sure you have whatever it is that you want people to know about or whatever it is you're selling. Make sure you have it there and make sure you create a way in addition to your monetization on these platforms to get more money. Because Peach has made probably $1 million as a content creator. I just see that she has. I know I make 5 figures a month sometimes, and I don't get paid from YouTube, but I still get paid from my affiliate stuff, and I get paid from Facebook. So I made, a good few thousand being on this stuff, and my platform is super small. Hers is big. She has thousands of people want to take classes from her. So she had all that money. You had all that money, and you didn't think to get a tutor. Like that's just something that just seemed like it would be common sense. You had all that money, but instead of you taking your kids to Disney every week, you were proud to take them to Disney every week. And that's just what I go to say. You're so busy hating your mother, you can't see that you are causing more damage to not. It's only one of you. You said she did it to. You said she was nice to your brother and sister. She didn't treat them the same way. But so according to Peach, out of her own mouth, her mom only mistreated her. Well, Peachy, Peachy, Peach, Tracy, Peachy. That's what I'm gonna call her, Peachy. Tracy, Peachy, Tracy and Peachy. Yeah, whatever. Peach McIntyre is doing the same thing that her mother did to her, except she's doing it times 9. And also, she's doing the way worse job because her mother, although she probably had some deficiencies, although she was probably dysfunctional, being that she grew up with some childhood trauma herself, being that she was a single mother, being that she had to work and do this and do that in order to provide for her. Peach, you have it easy. You have it on easy street. Peach is probably only one of the smallest percentage of women with 9 children that has made the amount of money she's made. Most women who have that many children are in abject poverty. Hey, Enoch, you sent all those emails. I'm going to get you. You know what? I start responding to you. You know the email I asked you to send, and you didn't send it. But Let me keep going. She has all of that money, and she says, "Well, I gambled it." So instead of you making sure your kids had a good nest egg, you are you felt comfortable coming online saying that you blew it on gambling, money that could have been used for those kids to get tutored. You got evicted time and time again, uprooting those kids. You were running around at the casino. Those kids weren't getting what they needed. They don't know how to read. I don't understand how and he says, well, if my kids ever come back to me and they have a problem with something I did, I'll apologize for it and I'll listen to my kids and I'll try to make amends for whatever I did. Sometimes an apology is not enough. It's not forgiveness that somebody needs. I forgave you. Like, I'm going to say this, I forgave people who did stuff to me, but that doesn't mean that it didn't still hurt. That doesn't mean that I don't still live with some of the things that have been done to me. That's like if you break your leg, right? If somebody you had a car accident with, they was drunk driving, and because of them, you can't walk anymore. You forgave them, but every day you wake up, you're paralyzed. So every day her kids wake up, they're gonna think about that trauma, right? They're gonna think about, okay, my mother got on YouTube and told everybody I couldn't read, and when I was in the 5th grade. My mother got online and told everybody I pee in the bed. Okay? Told everybody my daddy is a cheater. Told everybody my daddy cheated with my teacher. Told everybody my daddy used to beat her. Told everybody when she gave birth to me, my daddy gave her a black eye. So I was born with a mother with a black eye. Like, she don't. What's the question? You always have a question, Enoch. Like, where's the answers? Where's the answer to my question? I told you to email me something. Where is the answer to the question I have for you, Mr. Enoch? I mean, I'm just saying. But go ahead, sir. What is your question? So, again, we have to forgive our parents so we can heal. Because if we don't forgive our parents, we're going to make the same mistakes that they made. And while I'm at it, I hate the subject of generational curses. Generational curses is not a thing. That's like people saying, oh, I couldn't have been a slave if I had been alive during slavery. It wouldn't have went down like that. First of all, half of us are in slavery right now. We're in slavery to social media. We're in slavery to consumerism. We're in slavery to a lot of different things. Our minds are screwed. We would probably wouldn't have had the capacity to endure what those people endured back then. Thank God they went through that and we didn't even have to see what it's like. Thank God they went through the civil rights movement and we didn't have to get chased by dogs and hosed down. Thank God they fought for our rights to vote. And they went and sat in and was called the N words and was mocked and things were thrown at them. Thank God they went through that so we don't have to go through that. I thank God that although things haven't always been so grand for me, I thank God that I didn't have to suffer and endure some of the things that my mom had to because of the time that she was born in. If you truly forgive, do you keep bringing it up? Does the trauma keep coming back? Does the trauma keep coming back? That's the thing. People say, well, why do you keep bringing it up? That's just like telling somebody, Enoch, let's put it like this. When you have the white community telling black people, all you people do is bring up slavery. Slavery has been over. All you people do is bring up racism. You guys are the ones that's racist, bringing up racism. All you have to do is get out there and work. You guys are the ones that are unaliving each other. Okay, now you guys don't have to do that to us anymore because now the oppressed is mimicking the oppressor. Now we don't have to be lynched or because you're throwing us in jail. You don't have on the cotton fields. Now you have us in the prisons. Now you're taking the dads out of the homes and putting them into prison. You're not educating us. You want us to go to school, but then you're giving us inferior educations. Um, we're not allowed to get the same jobs. Like in Wisconsin, I think it was Ryan that posted a stat that only about 78 farms in Wisconsin are black owned compared to 80,000 that are white owned or owned by others. 78 black farms compared to 38,000 other farms. Did I repeat the same number? Because I believe that's what the numbers was. So, first of all, forgiveness is not forgetting. Forgiveness is not forgetting. Forgiveness is you don't hold it against that person anymore. I think people get forgiveness mixed up with, uh, they get it mixed up with being vindictive or being vengeful. You could have stole $20 from me yesterday or last week. You stole $20 from me. I don't want to fight you and I don't want to hate you, but guess what? You can't come back into my house. I'm not gonna leave my purse next to you again. Should I forget that you stole $20 from me? No, I don't have to hate you and I don't have to want to hurt you because you stole $20 from me. I could let that slide. Oh, you stole $20 from me? I would have gave you the $20, but yeah, I'm cool. Oh, hey, how you doing? I might not even mention it to you. I seen you take it. You didn't know I was watching you. I saw you take it out of my purse. Okay, I guess you needed it, but guess what? We're cool. Like, I won't hold you in the same regard as my friend, family member, or whatever you were to me, but I know not to trust you anymore. I would be a fool to trust somebody who I know stole from me. I would be a fool not to remember somebody who caused me harm and who caused me damage and trauma. I would be a fool not to remember what that person is capable of. Now, do I hold it against them and every time I see them, you did this to me, you did that to me? Do I seek vengeance? No, I let God handle that. But that doesn't mean that you did not hurt me. That doesn't mean if I got to live with the consequences of what you did to me, you're going to live with that too. That's the consequences of sin, right? You, even if I don't ever bring it up, every time you see me, you're going to remember what you did. Even if I never bring it up. So forgiveness is just don't hold you I don't hold it against you. I don't hate you for it. I don't have animosity in my heart for you. That's what putting something in the sea of forgetfulness in. If you cheated on me, right? I have to build that trust back up because you hurt me. We're married and then I find out you broke our vows, like you broke the covenant between me and you and don't have another baby too on the outside. You cheated and now you got a baby. So now we got to deal with now you got child support. Now you got a baby. And if I'm any kind of woman, then even if I'm not comfortable with you bringing a baby over, or some women be like, okay, I don't mind you bringing the baby around, but I don't want you seeing that baby going over there to her house to see it, right? She, we got to do something where we do a drop off and pick up type of thing. We can go as a couple and we meet at McDonald's and she drop the baby off to you and we keep it pushing to the house. And you had the baby for a week or whatever. That's if I choose to stay with you. So that's a lot for a person to have to accept in order to remain married. Every time I see this child, I'm reminded of your infidelity. I can't forget it. I can't forget that you cheated on me because the proof of what you did is right here. Now, do every time I see this child, am I poking my lips out? Am I starting an argument with you? Am I causing drama and being mean to the kid? No, but I still remember. And you might see me crying. I might have a crash out moment because that's a lot for a human being to take. See, that's the thing. People want to do things to other people or people do things and they feel like there's no blowback from it. It's going to be blowback. That's what it is. That's the consequences of what you did. There's going to be blowback from that. And then the offended person should not be expected to have to hold it in. Oh, well, you said you forgive me. Oh, you said you love me. So I'm supposed to hold it in for the rest of my life and never cry about it, never feel anything, Enoch? So if you're not married to me and we boyfriend girlfriend, does the same rule apply? Yes. If we're in a committed relationship, yes. Obviously, if I'm not married to you, then the infraction, well, you're not married, but okay, then I can just break up with you and go on about my way because you're not my husband. So I don't even need to consider that. I can just move on, you know? But absolutely, what time is it while I'm running my mouth? Because I don't have a lot of time today, but yes, that's just what I'm saying about, just like Peach says, she has childhood trauma from what her mother did to her. Her mother has said, I'm sorry. Her mother said they sat at the table and said, I'm sorry, but she said her mother called her a liar. Her mother says she didn't put her in the dirty bath water. And so now she's holding that against her mom. Well, she called me a liar. She called me a liar. But I seen Peach go out and spend thousands of dollars setting up a barbershop for her husband, and the kids can't read. I would feel some type of way if I'm going back looking at old YouTube videos and I see you giving my dad a $60,000 truck, brand new $60,000 truck. If I see you giving my dad $50,000, if I see you taking my dad on vacations, paying for his gambling debts, if I see you doing all that and then I don't have money for college, I would be very upset. Or I can't read because you didn't pay for me a tutor, I would be highly upset. If I go back and be like, well, Mama, why were we at Disney all the time and I couldn't read? I would be feeling some type of way. So, yeah, that's, like I said, healing needs to occur. And God told me that the other day. He said, you gotta let it go. He always tells me that you gotta let it go. And I think that's what people don't really understand is that forgiveness, and we heard that cliche before, forgiveness is not for the other person, it's for you. It's to free you. Because if somebody has your mind like that and they have you trapped, and they do have free tutoring at school. I don't know why they wasn't at school because they were. What makes the game so cold, Enoch, is the kids were at school from 6 a.m. I think to 6 p.m. And I think when you have before and after care, I thought they tutored you and help you with your homework. So her kids are just getting left behind. What they say, no child left behind. Her children were getting left behind. Um, I just don't see how that's happening unless they have some type of special needs. But her kids go to a charter school. Sometimes those charter schools are no good. They don't have the same type of standards as other schools. And, you know, I don't know. People like charter schools. I don't know. Hey, Dana. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, Moshe. How are you doing? Um, I don't know. I know people who were going to charter schools, and all of a sudden, the charter school just shut down out of nowhere. They just shut down. No, uh, no prior. They didn't let anybody know prior to. No notice on the door. You just show up, and the whole school is closed down, and you got to start all your credits for high school over. So, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know about private schools either. I know people who their kid was doing horribly in public school, and then when they went to the private school, all of a sudden they were getting all straight A's. And a family member of mine, I won't say which one because they might not want their business out there like that, but they told me years and years ago they used to teach. So they have children at private schools, and the expectation was that their kids got all A's. At one time, she didn't give somebody's child an A, and the principal and that parent complained to the principal, and she had to go back and give that child an A. So people paying their money, people are going to charter schools because charter schools are like education though. So if your kids go to a charter school and they might be, they may not be as um, stringent on your kid getting what they need. And I would think that if your child couldn't read, why are they getting bumped up to the next grade? But who's to say that's what's happening with Peach's kids? We don't know if they're in their right grades. We don't know if they are, if they flunked, as they say. We don't know. And that's why I'm just saying, like, all of this hooping and hollering every third quarter of the year or every other quarter when she needs content. Here we go again with you bullying your mom on all the social networks and bullying your family. You do it to your husband, you do it to your children, you do it to your mom, like you're Mrs. Perfect, and the whole time you're not. I don't know. I just don't like that. As a daughter, as a mother myself, I don't like a lack of accountability because when you point one finger at somebody else, you have several more coming back at you. Public schools are just fine. It's what the parents and students do with it. I agree. When my kids go to school, if I see something, I'm always on the teacher. Like, let me know. Like, don't ever say my kid is failing because if they're failing. That's too late to let me know. If they didn't turn something in and it was supposed to be turned in, but they give you, what is it called? Parent. I don't even know. Look at me talking about somebody. Called, I can't think of it, guys. But you can go and see all your kids' grades. I don't know if they have it, if it's the same everywhere. Let me know if you're a parent of school age children. What is it called? I would know if I could go on my phone and look, but I'm on live on my phone. But you can see what grades your kids are getting. You can just log into their account and you're able to see what assignments they're missing. If you get that first progress report and you notice that your kid is not doing well, you need to check with your office. You need to find out what's going on in school, see what resources are available to assist your child, and then after you do that, you need to change things at home. There's no way you should be at Disneyland every weekend and your kids can't read. That is just horrible. Ain't no way in heck I would take my kids anywhere and they can't read. They would be sitting in front of, sitting by the fireplace with a book all weekend long until they knew those words. My son graduated third in his class and went to college with a bunch of scholarships, and I didn't have to pay one dime except for food. I know that's right, Dana. Congratulations to your son. That's big. That's what's up. That is what's up. Kids shouldn't have to pay for college or get a bunch of loans if parents do it right. You know, there's athletics, there's academics, there's a scholarship for almost everything, for almost every race, every hobby, every sport. There's so many different scholarships, and if you apply for them early enough, you can get in. And financial aid too would take care of a lot of things. But when just with a parent's involvement, just a parent being involved in their child's life. I don't care if your child is autistic. I don't care if your child can't speak. I don't care if your child has Down syndrome. Your involvement is going to make a difference between a dependent child and a child that can grow up and stand on their own 2 feet. If you don't do the work before that prime age of 0 months to 5, that's when the majority of your work is done. By the time your kid gets in kindergarten, all my children knew how to write their name. They knew the colors, they knew the shapes, they knew the alphabet. By the time they got in kindergarten, they could write the alphabet, they could write their name, they knew their shapes, colors, numbers by the time they got into kindergarten. That's just the bare minimum. And then once your kids know the letters and not A, B, C, D, E, F, G, but they knew the letters, they could recognize them by sight. They could recognize the numbers by sight. I think my kids were ready to read by first grade. My daughter Robin was reading in kindergarten. I don't even remember if I read in kindergarten. So, and I always read to them. My daughter Raven, she didn't like me to read to her. She would always snatch the books from me. That's why she wasn't as up to par as her sisters were, because she never let me read to her. But my other kids, they loved for me to read to them. I would read to them often, and they got it very easy. They had their favorite books. They knew what word was coming next. And then my kids have always been excited to learn. They've always been on their P's and Q's when it came to school. Even my daughter, Kamaria, she's in college now. Uh, she just graduated high school, but I thought, I knew that little girl was gonna give me AC double hockey stick when she got to school. And she tried it. She did try me for kindergarten and first grade. But by second grade, she had herself together. And by third grade and every grade after that, she was on a roll. One time she came home with a little, one of those little bulletins saying that, or it was a little note. They gave them a note. And I opened it up and it said, your daughter is being awarded on such and such day, come to the school. So I'm sitting there and I'm hearing all these kids' names be called. And my sister, her kids were getting awards too that day. And I said, why would she have me come up here and they didn't call her name? Because they started with the kids with 3.0, then they went to 3.5. Well, my daughter had a 4.0. And I said, what the heezy? She got the superintendent's award. I was like, what? So that just goes to show, if you're involved and if you love your kids and if you participate in their education, because it's not just about getting your kids dressed and sending them to school. They have homework, they have projects that they have to do, and sometimes they may need your help doing that homework. I'm so glad I don't have to help kids with homework no more. I do not know what to do. Ugh. But I have 5 girls, so imagine all the times I had to come home, help with homework, help do dinner, get them ready for the next day as a single mom. It was just out of control. It's tiring. That's why, I don't understand why she has 9 kids. Again, 9 kids is what people, no, I don't want to say that. But 9 kids is a lot of kids to have. I think that's kind of irresponsible in today's day and age to have 9 children and then they don't all have the ability to read. If you're going to have 9 kids, then all 9 kids should be A1. Because I see parents like that with 9 children. House is clean. Their marriage appears to be a good marriage. Their kids are going off to college. You never know what somebody is really doing because people don't let you know what's really going on in their house. But you don't see them out gambling. They're not getting evicted. I don't know. Because I heard some things about other mommy bloggers too. And I've heard about felonies. I heard about fraud. And this is some of your bigger content creators who you be like, oh my goodness, like who, her, for real? And she's like one of the biggest mommy creators out there. And I even spoke highly about her on my channel. And I hear that she's had some run-ins with the law. Nobody's perfect. So I'm not going to judge her on that. And that's why I won't even call her name out, because that's besides the point. The point I'm really making is you don't know how people are really living off social media. And that's one thing to be said about Peach. At least she appears to be authentic and really, really showing her life. Sometimes I think it's all made for content, which actually makes it worse. If her children could really read and Peach is coming on here, because this is about the 3rd time Peach has went to the library to buy books so she could teach her kids how to read. This is the 3rd time Peach has done this. So if this is just one of her cycles to get people talking, I mean, I just don't know what to say. Like, you got the whole family in on your shenanigans. Listen, one of her half sisters, one of Peach's half sisters, remember the time when Peach's father, Pete McIntyre, when he passed away 2 years ago, rest in peace, Mr. McIntyre. Well, one of her sisters said that Peach and Tracy get together and they write different scripts and skits for social media, that they actually really get along. That's what she said. So I don't know if it's true or not. But it's on TikTok. You can go see Peach's sister, Akasha, said that Peach has been lying on her mother, that her mother actually kept her clean, actually kept her neat. He was there. Peach was around her father growing up, and Peach was around her mother. And he said everybody knew Tracy for being a hustler and keeping her kids together. He said they always had new shoes. He said that, Peach always had nice things because her mother really went out of her way to make sure that happened. And like I said, another half sister, um, Akasha is Peach's trans sister. The other sister, she's a beautician. She does hair, and she's on TikTok as well. I don't know her name. I can't think of her name. But this is a old, like, if you could find it, if you know Peach's sister's name, if you look it up, her brother, one of her other brothers came on here and said that Peach was a scammer. Peach was actually very, and she looks just like this brother. It's like Pete's kids, they all look alike, but Peach really looked like that brother. And he said that Peach was like a scammer and a fraud. And she stole from the family. And that's what actually, and I guess the father, he kind of took the other sister's side in it, and that's what made Peach mad. But a lot of people say that she's faking this content and that Tracy is on it. But I feel like Wood is in on it because all the times Peach has accused him of cheating, all the cockamamie stories she's come up with accusing him, I don't know. I don't believe all of that stuff. I don't believe that he's cheating like she says he is. And Wood looks like he's tired. She showed him with the kids the other day, and he looked like he was just so tired, like he was out of it. Peach is leaving the house an hour early so the kids can be on time for a school that's 5 minutes away. I just feel like even if she is a breadwinner, enough got to be enough at some point. Like they're underwater. That family is underwater, and if she has to go drag her mother and come up with more salacious stories again and again, it just seems like it's dirty money, right? And it's Peach doesn't tell all what she does. Like, you're never gonna hear Peach say, "I did this to my mom when I was a kid," or "I did this to Wood," or "I did this to my kids." She'll say, "Well, I gambled the money away," which is a ploy because she wants people to buy those classes. But I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Do you think that when you, because this is the ultimate message right here, do you think that when you don't forgive your parents, you become like them? I know that I made some mistakes as a mother, some of the same mistakes that my mother made herself. And I think it's because it's probably learned behavior, and also me not really willing to accept that my mom made mistakes, because I think that's what we had to look at. Our parents are going to make mistakes. Our parents are not perfect. Just because they're moms, just because they're dads, that does not mean that they are perfect, right? And because they're not perfect, sometimes we're affected by some of their mishaps, right? But by the same token, we're not perfect either as children, right? So when we have our own children, we're going to have to learn that. That's the message right there. It's not really to dog Peach out. None of the things I said was to dog her out or to uh, insult her or put her down. My whole thing was, you come on here and you point the finger at your mom. You point the finger at Wood as if you're perfect. And two, you're making some of the same mistakes that, and even worse. No, I don't believe you become like them. You make mistakes, you pick up on learned behavior, but you try to do better. You absolutely try to do better, but I'm saying if you hate, you become what you despise. If you hate your parents, you definitely become that. Even if you don't act it out in the same way, right? Um, for instance, there could be a child who was might have been physically abused by the parent, and they hate the parent for physically abuse, or maybe the parent whooped them. Some parents believe in corporal punishment, and the kid hate that, and they hate the parent for that, but they still have angry outbursts, right? Or they might not hit their kids. Some parents be like, I don't like how my mother whooped me, so I'm not gonna whoop my child, right? But instead, what they do is they yell, they curse, um, and they do other things, or they're very vindictive towards their kids. I had to learn not to be vindictive towards my children. Like if they do something, okay, just wait till you ask for something. I'm not gonna let you do this, or I'm not gonna let you do that. I had to learn how to show my children grace. And parents don't know that they can be vindictive towards their kids. They'll be like, well, they didn't do so and so, so I'm not letting them do this. Well, it's not all inclusive, lovely. I'm saying those who do hate their parents. You say you didn't hate your parents, that's a good thing. But some people really hate their parents and really despise their parents. I know someone, they used to their parent used to leave them with kids all the time, with their siblings all the time. And what it did was it made them hate being a mom. And so, although they weren't leaving their kids all the time like that, like their mom left their kids on them, they despised being a parent to the point that they really checked out of parenthood. And they really failed their kids in different ways. So it does have blowback. That's all I'm saying. Like, for instance, let me see how I could put me in here without shaming myself too much. I'll go ahead and said, I had I had some opposition to my mom's, to my stepfather. I didn't like that situation. I didn't like how uh, I didn't like their relationship at all. I hated him for the longest time. I hated my stepfather. Years later, I came to have an affection for him, but I hated him for years. And my mom would tell me when I was younger, oh, you don't understand. Because I would tell my mom, oh, you love him more. You love him more than us. And my mom was like, Charity, I don't love him more. It's a difference. I love him differently than I love you guys. And I would be like, no, 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 you love him more. I would say that. And then when I got married, I could see exactly what my mom meant when she said that you don't love your kids the same way. And I think I love my kids more, but at the same time, I think that when I was married, I did probably accept some things that didn't show just how much I love my kids. Because if I was a good parent, I don't think that I would have endured some of the things that I endured. And I try to tell myself, oh, my kids don't understand, or they don't understand what's going on. They're very young. They don't see it, but they really did. And my daughter, when she got older and she blurted something out and said something in anger towards her dad, I'm like, oh, you weren't asleep like mama thought you was. You were wide awake. You understand exactly what's going on. So I say that to say that when I was younger and when I was growing up, I felt a certain type of way about my mom's new husband. And when I was married, I could see how a lot of things, there are so many similarities between my mom's marriage and mine. Even though I did get divorced, and even though I feel like I chose me and my children in the end, I didn't choose us as soon as I should have. I didn't choose us as soon as I should have. My mom did her best, but my dad is different. I have a different outlook on him. Um, I think that as parents, we do the best we can. They said, well, what we know, but sometimes I don't think parents do the best that they can. Sometimes I don't think they do the best that they can, even with what they know. I think some people are just, even like me. I was doing I was making excuses for my ex-husband. I made a lot of excuses. Oh, this is my kid's father. Oh, we're married. Oh, I don't want to have different men around my children. Oh, but he's a good father. Oh, but he's this and he's that. And that was just excuses to remain in a toxic situation that wasn't good for me or my children. We tell my mom as we are older how stuff we seen as we as kids, as when you were kids affected us, right. And I think that's what mothers don't really realize. They'll think like, oh, but I made sure you had clothes. I made sure that the bills were paid. I was working hard. And the whole time all the kid could see is, wait a minute, nobody's home when I get home from school. Yeah, you're at work so you can pay the bills, but who's home? I don't feel like have you here. And then the days that you have off, maybe you're resting in bed so you get ready for the weekend so we don't get to do anything on the weekends, or maybe you're out. I know some friends, their mother will work all week and then be at the boyfriend's house on her days off, so, and then sleeping all day, right? So, right, lovely. So I think that, you know we have to look at ourselves too as children who become mothers and fathers, that we're not perfect either. And I know I'm not perfect. I have a lot of things that I could say about myself. I would never do that to myself. No, one day I would share. I don't mind sharing. I don't mind sharing that um, I'm a disaster walking, or a walking disaster. I don't mind sharing that because I feel like it's just what it is, and I know that none of us are different. We all had the same fears. We all carry the same hurts. We all carry the same traumas in some type of fashion. It may not be the exact same thing, but we are all just trying to get over our worst selves, trying to get over our worst pain, trying to be successful in spite of a world with so many evils and inconsistencies and inadequacies. We're all just trying to be better people. The bulk of us are. The bulk of us are trying our best to be good human beings. And then we have those people who make that very hard for us. And when they make it hard for us, then our human side comes out, right? My mom worked her butt off. Dad was around, but the stuff he did to my mom was just as bad as if he was not around. I think that's what I'm saying. Like, sometimes as parents, lovely, we will be in a relationship and we'll stay because, oh, but I don't want my kids to be without their father. I hate it. I don't want my kids to be without their father type of mom. Like, who cares? Like, a father is very important, but if a father is abusive to you, you are hurting your kids more than if that father was not around. If that father cannot help pull his weight by providing for the family, you got to work even harder. And I'm not talking about your mom. And I'm speaking on examples of women I've seen like this, lovely. I've seen so many women who, yeah, well, but I want my kids to grow up with their father in the house. I've seen that happen so many times. And the children grow up messed up, just as if that father wasn't in the house. How about you want your child to have a good male role model, a good father? Because he don't have to be in a home to be a good father or to be around. You guys don't have to be married and you don't have to live together. It would be nice. That's nice. That's good if you could have that. But if you can't, then don't make that child suffer because of your mixed up ideals about what life should look like, right? And I think that's how kids get messed up too, because they have this idealistic view of what you understand, lovely. Yes, kids have this. I'm gonna tell you, I grew up feeling like I never wanted to be married. I said I never wanted to be married. I never wanted to live with a man because I didn't like how I grew up. I didn't like the household I grew up in. And I would see friends and I would see or hear stories. I would watch, news and hear different things. I didn't ever see a relationship that looked like it was something I wanted to be in. I like men and I wanted to get down with a man. I wanted me a man. But I didn't want him to live with me and I did not want him to be my husband. Okay, I know that sounds horrible to say, but I just didn't have a good idea about what marriage is. So I didn't want that. So I don't know how I ended up married with 5 kids anyway. That was crazy. I was only supposed to have 2 or 3 kids, but best laid plans and all that good stuff. But I don't regret my children at all. I do not regret my children at all. I would never regret my children. I can't even say I regret the things that I went through because if I didn't go through them, I wouldn't be where I am today. Maybe I would be a better person. Who knows? Maybe I would be way better as a woman, as a mother. I don't know. But hindsight is always 40/40, right? But you can't go back. What you can do is learn and heal. And Enoch, if you're still listening, you can forgive so that you can be at peace with the things you made, the decisions you made, and you can make it better for the children coming after you by saying, hey, because that's what I try to do with my children. Hey, you don't want to do this, you don't want to do that, and they got to make their own way as well. But you want to put them on game and tell them and give them those examples and tell them those stories and really driving in until it hits home like, look, you don't want to do this and you don't want to do that. This is how it's going to turn out for you. And hopefully you got a smart kid that be like, you know what? Because I did listen to my mom a lot. My mom had a lot of good stories about people she grew up with. I mean, that lady could tell you some stories. Me and my friends used to just sit at her knee and listen to her tell her stories and about because my mom grew up in Los Angeles. My mom grew up in Los Angeles in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. So that was a time. It was a time, and so LA is real big, and at that time it was all black. So she comes with a lot of different stories about people, and just my mom comes from the school of life, and she don't like to tell those stories these days, but my mom, put me up on a lot of game about relationships and just how to carry myself and how to handle different stuff. So I can't say I did get a lot of gains from that woman too. And I was the type of kid that I didn't have to go through it all by myself. I would learn from other people's experience. So if you told me something, I didn't want to go through that. Like if you told me that if I touch that fire, I'm going to burn myself, I wasn't about to do it. No, I wasn't. I saw a lot of kids who didn't listen to their mothers, and they regretted it. It's so deep. Same people that stayed talked about you when you walked away. Right. Absolutely. Some people make choices based on what society says is good, but what does society know about how you live your life? But sometimes you got to go against the system. You got to go against the grain. Just like I see successful married couples raising children who grow up to be successful, I also see successful single moms raising children to be successful, and vice versa. I also see dysfunctional households with the father constantly cheating, constantly abusing the wife, abusing the children. I see that a lot too. And it's hidden and it's kept quiet and nobody says a thing. Right? So yeah, we just have to all right guys, so I gotta go. I'm going to miss my appointment. I might come back on here later. If I don't, you guys have a blessed day. Thank you for tuning in. Um, I was supposed to be going live this week at all, but I keep coming on here, y'all. Um, y'all have a blessed day and thank you for tuning in. And like I said, make peace with your parents so you can be at peace. Have a good day, y'all. I guess you don't want that.